but I think they were trying for nearly 2 months. At the end of 2 months, he said that he can't help.
Did he say why he couldn't help?
He said that he can't help. They are not listening to him, the people who have played.
The people that have him?
Yeah.
Right.
The family also spoke to the Department of Foreign Affairs here in Canberra, which in turn asked Australia's High Commission in Colombo to contact the Sri Lankan government. But the family says it was told nothing more could be done to determine whether he was dead or alive.
They're disappointed in that these human rights violations and etc. are not being questioned openly by the Australian government or the Foreign Office, or for that matter the High Commission there. So that is definitely something that's causing a lot of disappointment and disillusionment amongst Australian citizens of Sri Lankan Tamil origin.
The Department of Foreign Affairs told Dateline in an email that it's unable to confirm the veracity of these kidnappings, but it also said that it's asked the Sri Lankan government at a high level to have reported cases of abduction investigated, the relevant person released safely, and to prevent future cases reoccurring.
I don't like to use the word abductions in that manner, specifically in the sense that every disappearance is not an abduction. Because these numbers are exaggerated, highly exaggerated numbers.
Sri Lanka's High Commissioner to Australia, Kusumpala Balapatabendi, says that if some Tamils have been found dead, it's probably just a result of Sri Lanka's long-running civil war. Amazingly, he accuses Tamils of making up their kidnapping stories.
I can hide somewhere and get my wife to come to the police that I am missing. I am abducted. This is happening because this is tarnishing the image of the country. They are trying to distract the international community from our country in our efforts to solve this problem.
But many people have turned up dead.
Maybe a few people. In a war, people have to die.
But 430 people have died.
Or maybe, I don't know, maybe more or less. It can be because in a war, no one knows who is dying, who is not dying.
But with 430 kidnapped victims turning up dead, the Sri Lankan government has been criticised by human rights groups for not doing more to investigate the disappearances.
Now, you're prepared to talk to me tonight about this.
Reports by groups like the Asian Human Rights Commission back up the testimony of Tamil families here in Sydney.
She said she had one phone call and they asked for some money. And she said immediately she wanted to talk to the son first.
Tanveer, again not his real name, has also suffered the torment of having a family member kidnapped. His sister's 20-year-old son was abducted from the family apartment in Colombo just before Christmas last year.
And someone knocked on the door, and there were only 4 or 5 people outside. They said there's some sort of police investigation, and they called out his name. So he walked out and he told his mother that I saw this and come. And when she came out, she saw them sort of pushing him in a white van, and by the time she came out, the van drove off.
A few weeks after the abduction, Tanveer's sister received a phone call from the kidnappers.
They said they'll come back to her with some details. She told me that, and I told her, whatever the money, somehow, we'll get him out. So this is about 3 months ago, so we've been waiting since, to hear from those people.
Tanveer's family believes the boy may have been taken by the Sri Lankan security forces and handed over to the Karuna group to be trained as a militant.
I think he was arrested. I think it's by the army and police. I don't think it's a rebel group. But there have been stories about the army and police arresting kids and handing over to Karuna group to fight against Tamil Tigers. Maybe that has happened, I'm not sure.
Dr. Mohan also believes that many of the younger kidnapping victims are being forcibly recruited to fight for paramilitary groups. But he says none of it would be possible without the approval of corrupt government officials.
It's a combination of paramilitary groups combination of government highly placed officials and the military and the armed forces. There should be connivance between all these groups for effectively to carry this out again and again and again without being get caught.
As implausible as this sounds, just a few months ago, Sri Lanka's police chief announced that criminal gangs were involved in the kidnappings, along with corrupt police and military officers. Sri Lanka's High Commissioner confirms this, but says corrupt officials are already being dealt with.
Many of them are ex-civil servicemen, and a couple of people are serving police, not many. But those fellows have been now thrown out there under detention and being charged.
The Department of Foreign Affairs says it cannot offer an opinion as to who it thinks is behind the kidnappings. But Dr. Mano Mahan believes that the government needs to do more to help its Tamil citizens and their families.
So Australia, I feel, should take a leading role and call a spade a spade, talk to Sri Lankan government, authorities, and possibly also canvass countries like the United Kingdom, which has a moral obligation in this problem because Sri Lanka was a British colony, and perhaps canvass even America and the European Union to take a more proactive role in this problem, leaving the political problem alone to take a very hard line on these human rights violations and to put a stop to that.
The whole Tamil thing's such a mess and won't go away. That's a bothering report from Nick Lazaridis.